Hello and welcome back to another video provided by SVSU's online tutoring. My name is Joel and we will be continuing on with section 8.1, solving quadratic equations, factoring, and special forms. And the topic this time will be quadratic equations with complex solutions. So in the past with chapter 7, we said previously that we couldn't find a solution to this equation, x squared plus 1 equals 0. And before, the reason for that was that we weren't aware of complex numbers yet. But now that we have knowledge of that, we can actually go ahead and solve for x. So if we subtract 1 on both sides, we have x squared is equal to negative 1. And we take the square root of both sides, and we find that x is equal to plus or minus I. Okay? And so, with this knowledge of complex numbers now, we can expand our square root property and include complex square roots. So if we say that the equation u squared is equal to d, where d is less than 0, then that has exactly two solutions. And the solutions are u is equal to the square root of the absolute d value times I, and u is equal to the negative square root of the absolute value d times I. Or you can just say plus or minus the square root of the absolute value of d times I. So, just to go over some examples, if we had, say for instance, we had x squared plus 9 equal to 0, we subtract 9 on both sides, and we have x squared is equal to negative 9. So we take the square root of both sides, and we see that x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 9 times I, but 9 is a perfect square, so we can simplify our answer and say that we have x being equal to plus or minus 3I. Okay? Another example is if we have, let's say, if we have x minus 5 squared equal to negative 7. Well, what we have to do is that we have to take the square root of both sides, and so we'll end up with x minus 5 being equal to plus or minus the square root of 7 times I, and then all we have to do to solve for x is just add the 5 on both sides. And so we will have x being equal to 5 plus or minus the square root of 7 times I. And then finally, if we have, I'm going to have to make room for this, so if we just get rid of this stuff right here. If we have 3 times 2x minus 7 squared plus 18 equaling 0, what I have to do here to solve for x, let me fix that 0. Finished off the loop there. There we go. What I have to do to solve for x is subtract this 18 on both sides first. So we have 3 times 2x minus 7 squared equal to negative 18. And then we can divide both sides by 3. So we have 2x minus 7 squared equal to negative 6. And so now we're ready to take the square root of both sides. So now we have 2x minus 7, which is equal to plus or minus the square root of 6I. And then to isolate x, we have to add 7 to both sides. So now we have 2x is equal to 7 plus or minus the square root of 6I. And then finally we divide both sides by 2. So x is equal to 7 plus or minus the square root of 6I divided by 2. Okay, that does it for this topic. The next one will be the final topic for this section, and it's equations of the quadratic form. And what that deals with is irregular quadratic equations and then an application. So, see you next time.